let's talk about things you should never agree to when selling your home. Selling your home is one of the biggest financial transactions you will ever make. But here's what surprises me. Some of the biggest mistakes sellers make have nothing to do with pricing their home or negotiating offers. They happen because they say yes to things that seem harmless at the time. Maybe they don't want to offend the buyer, maybe they're trying to be helpful, or maybe they simply don't realize what could go wrong. The problem is one small decision can delay your closing, cost you thousands of dollars, create legal headaches, or even put your safety at risk. So today I'm going to walk you through the things I would never agree to if I were selling my own home. And these are the lessons I've learned from working in both real estate and lending and from seeing transactions go sideways when they did not have to. Whether you're selling next month or next year, these are things you'll want to remember. Number one, never let unverified people into your home. This one sounds obvious until it actually happens. You're home packing boxes, someone knocks on the door and says, "Hey, I saw your house online. Is there any chance I could just take a quick look?" Or maybe they say they're working with an agent. Or maybe they tell you they're already pre-approved, and it all sounds perfectly reasonable. But here's my advice. Don't let them in. If your home is listed, every showing should be coordinated through your real estate agent. Your agent's job is to verify who the buyer is, confirm appointments, and make sure the showing is legitimate. Besides the obvious safety concerns, you also do not know what someone's intentions are. Unfortunately, there have been situations where valuables disappeared after unauthorized showings. There have also been situations where people simply wandered through a home gathering information. Number two, do not let buyers test fit their vehicle in your garage. Believe it or not, this happens more often than you think. A buyer falls in love with your house, but they drive a huge truck, SUV, work van, or oversized vehicle, and then they ask, would it be okay if I pulled it into the garage just to make sure it fits? My answer is no, and here's why. If they're asking, there's already a pretty good chance it's going to be tight. Now, imagine they're trying to squeeze into your garage. They're nervous, they're inching forward. Someone misjudges the distance, and suddenly you have got damage to drywall, shelving, garage doors, trim, or even the home structure. Sure, insurance might eventually help, but do you really want to file an insurance claim while you're trying to sell your house? Do you want closing delayed because everyone is waiting on repairs? Probably not. And instead, there's much easier ways to answer that question. Grab a tape measure, measure the garage, measure the vehicle, or even better, have your real estate agent help the buyer verify the dimensions before anyone turns the key. It's simple, it's safer, and it avoids a completely unnecessary risk. Little decisions like this can save you a lot of stress later. And trust me, the next mistake is even bigger because I've seen sellers create enormous legal headaches by trying to help the buyer before closing. Number three is never, and I mean never, give the buyer the keys before the home officially closes. This is probably the rule I feel the strongest about. Every once in a while, a buyer will ask something like, "We're between homes, can we move in a couple of days early?" Or, "Our lease is ending before closing. Would it be okay if we just bring a few things over?" Or maybe they say, "The loan has already been approved. We've wired our down payment. What's the big deal?" I completely understand why they ask. Moving is stressful. But here's my advice. Do not hand over the keys until the sale has officially closed and ownership has transferred. That means the documents have been signed, the funds have been received, and most importantly, the deed has been recorded. Recording requirements vary a little by state, but the key idea is the same. Wait until the buyer legally owns the property. Now, could everything go perfectly? Absolutely. But what if it doesn't? I've worked on both the lending side and the real estate side, and I've seen transactions change at the very last minute. Maybe employment changes, maybe a lender discovers new debt, maybe there's an issue with the buyer's funds, maybe there's a title problem that unexpectedly delays closing. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Now imagine the buyer's already moved furniture into your home, or they've changed the locks. Or a family member gets hurt while they're living there before they actually own the property. Suddenly you've created a situation that becomes much more complicated than a simple real estate transaction. Now, could there be legal agreements for early possession? Yes, in certain situations there are written agreements that address this, but they should never be casual handshake deals. They require careful planning and guidance from the professionals involved. For the average home sale, my advice is simple. No keys until closing is complete. It protects you, it protects the buyer, and it keeps everyone following the same timeline. Sometimes the safest answer is also the simplest one. Number four, never let buyers make repairs, renovations, or improvements before they own the home. This is another situation where sellers are usually just trying to be nice. The buyer's completed the inspection, everyone's excited, closing is only a couple of weeks away, and then the buyer asks, "Would you mind if our contractor came over to measure for flooring?" Or can we start painting one of the bedrooms? Can we have our electrician come in and start a few projects so we can move in right after closing? All of these sound harmless, but there are a lot of things that can go wrong. What if the contractor accidentally damages your home? What if someone gets injured while working on your property? What if they are not properly licensed or insured? And here's another question. What if for some unexpected reason the transaction doesn't close? Now you have someone else's partially completed work inside a home you still own. And that's a situation no seller wants to deal with. Number 5, never accept an offer without verifying the buyer's financing. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see. A pre-approval letter is important, but it should not be the only thing that your agent relies on. Today's documents can look incredibly convincing, and not every pre-approval is created equal. This is why your agent should always have a conversation with the buyer's lender. Some great questions include, has the buyer's income been reviewed? Have their assets been verified? Has credit been pulled? Has the file already been through underwriting? Or is this just an initial pre-approval? The stronger the buyer financing, the smoother the transaction is likely to be. As both a realtor and loan officer, I can tell you that a 5-minute phone call between professionals can prevent weeks of frustration later. Number 6, be careful negotiating personal property before the deal is solid. This one surprises a lot of sellers. A buyer falls in love with your furniture, they want the patio set, the pool table, the dining room table, the washer dryer, the bar stools. Suddenly you're negotiating the house and everything inside it. Here's my advice. Focus on selling the house first. Once inspections are complete, contingencies have been removed, and everyone is committed to closing, then you can decide whether you want to sell any personal property separately. Why? Because furniture negotiations become emotional fast. The seller thinks everything is worth more, the buyer thinks everything should be discounted, and before you know it, everyone is frustrated over a coffee table instead of focusing on closing. Don't let the furniture become the reason a great transaction gets necessarily complicated. Number 7, be very cautious with contingent offers. A contingent offer means the buyer needs something else to happen before they can purchase your home. Often that means they need to sell their current home first. Now, contingent offers are not automatically bad. In the right circumstances, they can work very well. But you need to understand the entire picture. Is their home already under contract? Is it even on the market yet? How long has it been sitting? Is their buyer also contingent on another sale? The more dominoes involved, the greater the chance something falls apart. That's why it's so important to evaluate the strength of the entire chain, not just the offer sitting in front of you. Number 8, don't rush to accept the first offer without understanding your options. Let's finish with this one. Sometimes the first offer really is the best offer. I've absolutely recommended accepting the first offer when the price and terms were outstanding. But don't accept it just because you're excited someone made an offer. Talk with your agent, ask questions. Has the home had enough exposure? Would another weekend on the market likely bring additional qualified buyers? Or is this already an excellent offer that checks all the boxes? Every situation is different, and the goal is not to wait forever. The goal is to make an informed decision based on your market, your goals, and the strength of the offer in front of you. And that's exactly why having a great agent matters. Selling a home is exciting, but it can also be overwhelming. And the good news is that most of these mistakes are completely avoidable when you know what to watch for and have the right professionals guiding you through the process. If you're thinking about selling, whether that's next month or next year, I'd love to help you put together a game plan. If you're outside of Colorado, I can connect you with an experienced agent that I trust so you're in the good hands no matter where you live. I can also give you 2 to 3 agents that you can choose from. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up, subscribe. It helps YouTube share these videos with more homeowners who could benefit from them. And I'd love to hear from you. What's the one thing that you think every home seller should never agree to? Leave it down in the comments. I read them all. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
I can put you in a house on a hill, put you in a condo in the city, put you in a mansion.